Your mind won't stop. It's past midnight and you're lying here, exhausted, desperate for sleep. But your brain? It's throwing a party you didn't invite it to. Tomorrow's presentation. That conversation that went wrong. Money worries. Health anxieties. That email you forgot to send. The awkward thing you said 5 years ago that nobody remembers but you. Everything colliding at once. Each thought spawning three more, spinning faster and faster until you can't tell where one worry ends and another begins that you've tried everything. Just relax. Stop thinking. Clear your mind. You've counted sheep, focused on your breathing, visualized peaceful beaches. None of it works. The harder you push against your thoughts, the louder they get. The more you tell yourself to calm down, the more agitated you become. You're watching the clock now, calculating hours of sleep left, making deals with yourself. If I fall asleep in the next 10 minutes, I'll still get 5 hours. Then 20 minutes pass, then 40. Then you're doing the math again, and the anxiety about not sleeping becomes another thing to think about, another loop in the spiral. Maybe this has been happening for weeks. Maybe months. Maybe you can't remember the last time you just fell asleep easily. Your bed used to be a place of rest. Now it's a battleground where you fight your own mind every single night. You're exhausted during the day, wired at night. Your body is screaming for rest, but your brain has completely different plans. Here's what you need to understand right now. This isn't happening because you're broken or because something is fundamentally wrong with you. This isn't a character flaw or a sign that you're weak. Your racing thoughts aren't a thinking problem. They're a nervous system problem. Your mind is racing because your body is in a state of activation. Your stress hormones are elevated. Your muscles are tense even if you don't notice it. Your survival system is engaged, scanning for threats, preparing for danger. Your mind is doing exactly what it's designed to do when your body feels unsafe. It's scanning for problems to solve, generating worst-case scenarios to prepare for, reviewing the past for mistakes you need to fix. This is your brain trying to keep you safe. The problem is, there's no actual danger right now. You're lying in bed in a dark room. There's no emergency, but your body doesn't know that. So your mind keeps spinning, searching for the threat it's sure must be there somewhere. You can't think your way out of this. You can't logic yourself to sleep. You can't force your mind to shut up through willpower alone. That's like trying to lower your heart rate by deciding it should beat slower. The pathways don't work that way. But here's what you can do. You can change your physiology. You can work directly with your nervous system to shift from activation to rest. And when your body calms down, your thoughts slow down naturally. Not because you stopped them, but because the urgent need to think goes away. This audiobook isn't theory. It's not philosophy about sleep or overthinking. It's not a collection of general advice you've already heard 100 times. This is 8 specific physical techniques that work directly with your nervous system to interrupt the thought spiral. Each chapter gives you one technique that takes about 1 minute to do. 8 techniques, 8 minutes total. That's all you need to shift from racing thoughts to something manageable. Not perfect mental silence, not some enlightened state of peace, just quiet enough to let sleep happen. You don't need to do all 8 techniques every single night. Some nights you'll find that 1 or 2 are enough. Some nights you'll move through all of them. Some techniques will become your go-to favorites that you use over and over. Others won't work for you at all, and that's completely fine. You're building a personal toolkit here, not following rigid rules. This is about finding what works for your nervous system, your body, your particular brand of racing thoughts. We're not going to talk about sleep hygiene or blue light from screens or caffeine cutoff times. You already know that stuff. If you've struggled with racing thoughts for any length of time, you've already read the articles, tried the tips, followed the advice. We're going past all of that. We're working with what's actually happening in your body right now. Tonight, in this moment when your thoughts won't stop spinning. Each chapter is deliberately short. One technique, clear instructions for exactly what to do, a brief explanation of why it works and what's happening in your body when you do it. Then you try it. That's it. No long theoretical discussions. No complicated setups that require special equipment or perfect conditions. Just, here's what to do. Now do it. Feel what happens. Simple, direct, practical. The techniques build on each other in a logical sequence, but they also work independently. Chapter 1 might be all you need tonight, or you might move through several chapters, or all 8. You'll discover your own rhythm. Some people use the same 3 techniques every night. Some people mix and match depending on how activated they feel. There's no wrong way to do this as long as you're actually doing something instead of just lying there hoping your mind will magically quiet down on its own. Here's what won't happen. You won't suddenly become enlightened. You won't achieve perfect mental clarity. Your problems won't vanish. Your life won't be different tomorrow morning. But your nervous system will downregulate enough that sleep becomes possible instead of impossible. Your thoughts will slow from a sprint to a walk. And honestly, that's everything. That's the difference between lying awake tortured for hours and falling asleep in a reasonable amount of time. Get comfortable right now. You can stay in bed or sit up, whatever position feels right. Eyes closed or open, your choice. You can listen to this while lying in the dark, or you can read along if that helps you focus. This is yours to use however serves you best. There's no test, no right or wrong. Just you, working with your body, learning to shift from activation to rest. 8 minutes. 8 techniques. One quiet mind. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Stop fighting. She lay there at 2 a.m., thinking about thinking. She was aware she was overthinking, frustrated with herself for not being able to stop, annoyed that she couldn't just turn her brain off like a normal person, which created more thoughts about why she couldn't stop thinking. Meta thoughts. Thoughts about thoughts about thoughts. A spiral within a spiral. Every article she'd read said, just let go. She'd tried. God, she'd tried so hard to let go. But you can't force letting go. That's still forcing. That's still fighting. And the harder she fought, the more tangled she became. What she didn't understand was this. The fight itself was the problem. Every single time she thought, stop thinking, or why can't I relax, or this is ridiculous, she was activating her brain more. Resistance creates tension. Tension keeps the nervous system on high alert. An alert nervous system generates more thoughts to scan for danger. She was feeding the very cycle she was trying to stop. One night, someone told her something that changed everything. Stop fighting. Not forever. Not as some spiritual practice. Just for 60 seconds. Stop fighting and start watching. This chapter is about the foundation that makes everything else work. 1 minute of actual surrender. Not the spiritual kind where you transcend your ego. The physiological kind where you stop fueling your nervous system's activation. Your first minute isn't about stopping thoughts. It can't be, because that doesn't work. You've already proven that to yourself dozens of times. This first minute is about stopping the fight against your thoughts, about changing your relationship with what's happening in your mind. Right now, you're probably tensing against your thoughts, pushing back against them, resisting each one as it appears. Every racing thought feels like an enemy invading your mind, something you need to defeat or expel. You're in a battle. But here's the thing about battling thoughts. It's like fighting quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Every act of resistance gives the thoughts more power, more energy, more fuel to keep spinning. For the next 60 seconds, we're going to do something that might feel completely wrong. We're going to let the thoughts win. Not forever, not as a permanent state, just for 1 minute. We're going to stop fighting and start observing. This technique is called thought surfing, and it's the foundation everything else builds on. Here's how it works. The practice. Notice a thought. Any thought that's present in your mind right now. It could be a worry about tomorrow, a memory from earlier, a random observation. Doesn't matter. Just notice it. Don't engage with the thought. Don't try to solve it. Don't analyze it. Don't push it away. Don't judge yourself for having it. Just notice. There's a thought about tomorrow's meeting. Watch the thought like you're standing on a beach watching waves. A wave comes in. You see it approach. You watch it arrive. You watch it recede back into the ocean. You don't try to stop the wave. You don't grab onto the wave. You don't fight the wave. You just watch it come and go. Another thought appears. There's a thought about money. You're just labeling it, noting its presence, watching it pass. Another one. There's a thought about what I said earlier today. Label it. Watch it. The thoughts keep coming. That's fine. That's what thoughts do. They arise. They exist for a moment. They fade. Your job isn't to stop them. Your job is to watch them from the outside instead of being swept up inside them. Here's what will happen. You'll get sucked into a thought. You'll suddenly realize you're not watching anymore. You're inside it, engaging with it, following it down some rabbit hole. This isn't failure. This is part of the practice. When you notice you've been pulled in, simply notice that too. Oh, I got inside that thought about work. Then step back. Return to watching. No judgment about getting pulled in. Just gently come back to the observer position. Doit now. Set a timer for 60 seconds if you want, or just estimate based on slow breaths. About 10 breaths equals roughly 1 minute. Start watching your thoughts. Each time one appears, label it planning thought, worry thought, memory thought, random thought. When you get pulled into a thought, notice that happened. Then return to watching. Don't judge yourself for having thoughts or for getting absorbed in them. The practice is simply noticing when it happens and choosing to step back to observer position again. Go. 1 minute. Start now. What happened? Maybe you noticed the thoughts didn't actually stop. They probably didn't slow down dramatically either. If you're thinking this didn't work, pause. That's not what we're measuring here. What shifted, even if it's subtle, even if you barely noticed it, is this. You created space. Maybe just a millimeter of space between you and your thoughts, but space nonetheless. For at least a few seconds during that minute, You weren't completely identified with your thoughts. You were watching them. You went from being inside the tornado to observing it from outside, even briefly. That distance, that tiny gap, that's what matters. Because in that gap is your freedom. In that space between stimulus and response, between thought arising and you reacting to it, that's where you have choice. You just prove to yourself that you're not your thoughts. You're the awareness that watches thoughts. The thoughts themselves don't need to stop. That's not the goal, and it's not realistic. Your brain is designed to generate thoughts. That's its job. But you don't have to be imprisoned by every thought that appears. You can watch them pass like clouds across the sky, like cars on a highway, like waves on a beach. Why this works? When you stop resisting thoughts, you stop feeding them energy. Resistance activates your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that plans, analyzes, problem solves. That activation creates more thoughts. It's a feedback loop. Resist thoughts, create more thoughts. Resist those, create even more. But when you watch thoughts without engaging, you activate your brain's default mode network differently. You shift into observer mode, which is less generative. You're still aware, still conscious, but you're not churning out new thoughts constantly. The observer position is naturally calmer than the participant position, but there's also something happening at the identity level. Most of your suffering around racing thoughts comes from being fused with them, identified with them. You think you are your thoughts. So when anxious thoughts appear, you become anxious. When worried thoughts appear, you become worried. But when you can observe thoughts as events happening in your awareness, like sounds happening in a room, you realize you're not the thoughts themselves. You're the space in which thoughts appear. This 1-minute practice is the foundation for everything else. Every other technique in this audiobook works better when you can hold this basic stance. I notice thoughts, but I am not thoughts. I can watch without fighting. You just learned the first skill, surrender before strategy. Stop fighting, start observing. This isn't giving up. This is getting smart about how you work with your mind. 1 minute. That's all it took to shift from complete identification with your racing thoughts to having at least a tiny bit of distance from them. That distance is power. That gap is where change happens. Now let's move from your head into your body. Chapter 2. Ground your feet. He'd lie in bed for hours every night, completely disconnected from his body. All his attention, all his awareness, all his sensation was happening in his head. Thoughts, thoughts, thoughts. He didn't feel the mattress beneath him, didn't notice his legs or his arms or his torso. Couldn't tell you if he was tense or relaxed. He was just a floating brain in the darkness, spinning in abstract thought space with no anchor to physical reality. Then one night, someone told him something absurdly simple. Feel your feet. That's it. Just feel your feet. That IT seemed too simple to matter. Too basic to help with something as complex as racing thoughts. But he was desperate, so he tried. He brought his attention down to his feet, actually felt them from the inside. The sensation of his toes, the temperature, the weight, the spinning slowed immediately. Not stopped, slowed. Like someone had turned down the speed dial on his mind. He didn't understand it then. But the reason is simple. You can't be fully in your head and fully in your body at the same time. Your attention can only be in one place. When it's anchored in physical sensation, it's not making anxious thoughts. When you're genuinely feeling your feet, you're not simultaneously catastrophizing about tomorrow. This chapter is about 60 seconds of aggressive grounding in physical reality, starting with the most grounded part of you, literally, your feet. Racing thoughts happen in abstract mental space. Your body exists in concrete physical space, right here, right now. We're going to yank your attention out of thought space and drop it into sensation space. This works because your brain can't process both abstract worry and concrete sensation with full attention simultaneously. Why start with feet specifically? Several reasons. First, they're the furthest point from your brain, the most distant from where thoughts happen, which makes them psychologically easier to focus on without thoughts immediately intruding. Second, they carry powerful symbolic and neurological associations with groundedness, with being rooted, with being here. Third, they're easy to feel clearly without much effort. They have lots of sensory nerve endings, and they're usually touching something solid. The practice. Close your eyes if they're not already closed. If keeping them closed makes thoughts worse, keep them open with a soft, unfocused gaze. Find your feet. Not thinking about your feet, feeling them. There's a huge difference. Thinking about feet is still in your head. Feeling feet is in your body. Start with your toes. Can you actually feel each individual toe? Try to sense them from the inside. Move them slightly if you need to create sensation. Notice the spaces between your toes, the tops of your toes, the undersides, now the balls of your feet, the arches. Really feel the arch of each foot. Some people have higher arches, some flatter. What's yours like? Not how it looks, but how it feels from inside, your heels. Press them gently into whatever they're resting on. Feel the contact. Feel the pressure, the tops of your feet, the ankles, the boundary where your foot ends and your leg begins. What temperature are your feet? Warm? Cool? One foot warmer than the other? Don't just guess. Actually feel the temperature. Are your feet tense or relaxed? Are you unconsciously clenching your toes? Flex them deliberately, then release them. Notice what relaxed feet feel like. Can you sense the outline of each foot? The boundary where foot ends and air begins. Try to feel the shape of each foot clearly from the inside. Stay with this. Just feet. Nothing else. Every time thoughts grab your attention away, and they will, bring it back to feet. Not forcefully, not with frustration, just redirect, back to feet. Sensations in feet. Temperature, pressure, texture. Real, physical, present sensations. DOIT now. 60 seconds. Full attention on feeling your feet. When thoughts pull you away, come back. Again and again. 60 seconds. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Notice what happened to your racing thoughts while you were fully focused on your feet. They probably quieted. Maybe not completely silent, but definitely quieter. They moved to background noise instead of foreground emergency. That shift happened because you gave your attention something real, immediate, and physical to focus on. Your brain was busy processing actual sensory information from your feet: temperature, pressure, position, texture. That processing takes bandwidth. The same bandwidth that was being used to generate anxious thoughts about tomorrow. Your thoughts might have tried to intrude. That's normal. The practice isn't about achieving a thought-free state. It's about training your attention to come back to physical sensation when you notice it's been captured by thought. This return, this redirection, that's the skill. Each time you brought your attention back to your feet, you strengthened your capacity to anchor in the present moment instead of spinning in mental time travel. Why this works? This is called bottom-up regulation. Most people try top-down regulation, using thoughts to control thoughts, using mental strategies to fix mental problems. Think positive, reframe the worry, rationalize the anxiety away. Sometimes that works, but often it just creates more mental activity. Bottom-up regulation works the opposite direction. Calm the body first, and the mind follows. When you focus on physical sensation, several things happen simultaneously in your nervous system. First, you're anchoring yourself in present moment reality. Thoughts are almost always about past or future. Physical sensation only exists now, in this moment. When you're feeling your feet, you're automatically in the present. Anxiety can't exist in the true present. It only exists when your mind is time traveling to imagined futures or ruminated pasts. Second, you're activating your sensory cortex and deactivating the parts of your brain that generate abstract thought. Your brain has limited processing capacity. When sensory processing ramps up, thought generation naturally decreases. Third, you're sending a signal to your nervous system. We're in a body, in physical space, touching solid ground, not floating in abstract danger space, not in imagined catastrophe space. Here, real, grounded. This signal starts to down-regulate the activation. Quick variations. If feet don't work for you, maybe you have numbness or injury or just can't feel them clearly, try hands instead. Place them on your belly and feel your breath moving under them. Or feel your face, the temperature of air on your skin. Or notice the feeling of whatever you're lying on against your back. The specific body part matters less than the quality of attention. Concrete, immediate, physical sensation. Real touch, real temperature, real pressure happening right now. Some people find that adding movement helps. Flex and release your feet a few times. Press them against the mattress. Rotate your ankles. The movement creates stronger sensation, making it easier to keep attention anchored there instead of drifting back to thoughts. You just learned the second technique. Ground in body, escape from head. 1 minute of physical focus just changed your nervous system state. You proved to yourself that sensation interrupts spiral. These first two techniques work together. First, stop fighting thoughts. Chapter 1. Second, give attention something physical to focus on. This chapter. Now we're adding breath. Chapter 3. The 478 Reset. Instant nervous system hack. She'd heard about breathing exercises 1,000 times. Tried a few when she was desperate. They felt performative. Stupid. Just breathe deeply. Yeah. Thanks. Revolutionary advice. Breathing slowly while panicking felt like trying to whisper during an earthquake. But then she learned this. There's a specific breath pattern that directly triggers your parasympathetic nervous system. Not just breathe, a precise ratio, a specific code you enter into your nervous system that flips a biological switch. The pattern matters. For seconds in, 7 seconds hold, 8 seconds out. She tried it once, skeptical. By the third round, she felt her shoulders drop involuntarily. By the fifth round, her thoughts had slowed to half speed. Her heart rate had decreased. This wasn't relaxation through belief or positive thinking. This was physiology. She was hacking her nervous system with nothing but breath. Now she uses it every night. Sometimes it's all she needs. 4 rounds of 478, and her racing mind goes quiet enough for sleep. This chapter is about the fastest, most reliable way to tell your body you're safe. Strategic breathing. This specific breathing technique comes from yoga traditions, but forget the spiritual associations for a moment. This is pure biology. When you exhale longer than you inhale, you activate a specific nerve, the vagus nerve, that runs from your brainstem down through your body. This nerve is like a direct hotline to your brain's control center. When you stimulate it through long exhales, it sends an immediate message. We're safe, stand down, no emergency here. That signal does several things simultaneously. It lowers your heart rate. It releases muscle tension. It reduces cortisol production. It shifts your brain waves towards slower frequencies associated with calm. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, while dampening your sympathetic nervous system, the fight-flight-freeze system. The 4-7-8 ratio specifically has been studied and found to be optimal for most people. But if that particular count feels uncomfortable, you can adjust it. The key principle: exhale longer than you inhale. That's what activates the vagus nerve and triggers the calming response that the practice. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Not forcing the breath, not straining, just steady and controlled. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath for a count of 7. Your lungs are full, but not uncomfortably so. Don't force yourself to hold if it creates panic. Just a gentle pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. Slow, controlled, like you're blowing out a candle very gently, so you don't blow it out completely. Just make the flame flicker. Some people make a soft whooshing sound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's one complete cycle that we're going to do 4 cycles. That takes about a minute total. 4 cycles is enough to trigger the physiological response we're looking for. Your thoughts will keep happening in the background. That's fine. You don't need them to stop. Just keep breathing in the pattern. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. Focus on counting. Let thoughts be background noise while breath is foreground focus. That if 7 seconds of holding feels too long, reduce it to 5. If 8 seconds of exhale feels too long, do 6. The pattern matters more than the exact numbers. Longer exhale than inhale. That's the KEY.DOIT now. For complete cycles. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. Count in your mind. Focus on the counting and the sensation of breathing. Go.
Take a breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take a breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take a breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take a breath in for 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
How does your body feel now compared to before you started? Check in. Your jaw is probably less clenched. Your shoulders have likely dropped away from your ears. Your hands might feel heavier, more relaxed. Your heart rate has probably slowed. You might actually be able to feel your heartbeat now, whereas before it was racing too fast to notice individual beats and your thoughts. Still, there may be, still present, but probably moving slower now. Less frantic, less urgent. The catastrophic edge has probably softened. That shift happened in 4 breaths. 60 seconds. That's how quickly your nervous system responds when you give it the right signal. Why this works? The vagus nerve is like a superhighway between your body and brain. It carries information both directions. But the important thing for our purposes is what happens when you activate it through breath. It tells your brain directly that you're safe. Your brain takes cues from your body about whether you're in danger. If you're panting, your brain assumes you're running from a threat. If you're breathing slowly with long exhales, your brain assumes you're safe, because you can't be in immediate danger if you're breathing that slowly. No one breathes slowly while being chased by a bear. So your brain believes your breath. It uses your breathing pattern as information about whether the environment is safe or dangerous. When you deliberately breathe in this calming pattern, you're essentially lying to your brain in a helpful way. You're saying, "We're safe, nothing to worry about," through breath, and your brain responds by powering down the alarm system. This also works at the chemical level. Long exhales trigger release of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that counters stress hormones. They also help remove carbon dioxide from your bloodstream more efficiently, which reduces the breathless, panicky feeling that often comes with racing thoughts. Use this anytime. This breath pattern isn't just for bedtime. It works in the middle of the night when you wake at 3 a.m. with your mind spinning. It works during the day when anxiety spikes. It works in meetings, in traffic, in any moment when you notice your nervous system ramping up. Some people feel slightly lightheaded during or after this breathing. That's normal. You're changing the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in your blood. It passes quickly and isn't harmful. If it's uncomfortable, reduce the counts. Try 3-5-6 instead of 4-7-8 with regular practice. This breathing pattern becomes a conditioned trigger. Your nervous system learns to associate this pattern with safety and calm. Eventually, you might only need 1 or 2 rounds instead of 4. Your body learns the pattern and responds faster each time that you've now done 3 techniques. Stop fighting thoughts. Ground it in your body. Reset your breath. Your nervous system has shifted significantly from where you started. You're probably noticeably calmer than you were 5 minutes ago. Let's keep the momentum going with physical release. Chapter 4: Tense and release. The muscle paradox. His whole body was locked up. Jaw clenched so tight he'd wake with pain. Shoulders bunched up toward his ears, rigid as stone. Fists unconsciously curled, hands tense. He'd been holding this tension so long he didn't even notice it anymore. Chronic tension had become his baseline, his normal. Someone suggested progressive muscle relaxation. He'd heard of it, but never really tried. The instructions seemed counterintuitive. If you're already tense, why would you tense more? Seemed backwards, but he was desperate enough to try. He made tight fists, squeezing as hard as he could. 5 seconds of maximum tension. Then he released completely, let his hands go absolutely limp. And something strange happened. His hands relaxed in a way they hadn't in months. Actually relaxed, actually soft, not just less tense. He moved through his whole body. Each time, the pattern was the same. He couldn't force relaxation, but he could create contrast. Maximum tension followed by complete release. His nervous system recognized the difference and dropped into genuine softness. The paradox: you can't relax on command, but you can tense deliberately, then let go. In the contrast between extreme tension and sudden release, real relaxation happens. You can't tell your muscles to relax and expect them to instantly obey. Your body doesn't work that way. If tension could be released through mental commands, you'd have done it already. But your muscles do respond powerfully to contrast. The felt difference between maximum tension and complete release. This technique is called progressive muscle relaxation. Though we're doing a fast version targeting just the main areas where most people hold stress. The full version takes 15 to 20 minutes and works through every muscle group in your body. We're doing a 4-minute express version focusing on the high tension zones. The practice. We're going to work through 4 main areas. For each one, the pattern is identical. Tense as hard as you can for 5 seconds, then release completely and notice the contrast. First, your hands and forearms. Make tight fists. Squeeze hard. Imagine you're trying to squeeze water out of a stone. Feel the tension in your fingers, your palms, your forearms, your wrists. Harder. Tighter. Hold it. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now release completely. Just drop it. Let your hands go absolutely limp, like they're made of clay with no bones. Dead weight. Notice the rush of sensation as blood flow returns. Notice the difference between the tension you just had and the release you have now. Stay with this feeling for a few breaths. This is what relaxation actually feels like. Second, your shoulders and upper back. Pull your shoulders up toward your ears. High as they'll go. Try to touch your shoulders to your earlobes. Feel the tension across your upper back, your neck, your shoulders. Tighter. Higher. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop them. Let your shoulders fall like they've been cut from strings. Let them be heavy. Let gravity pull them down. Feel the release across your upper back, the softening in your neck. Breathe into the difference. Third, your jaw and face. Clench your teeth together hard. Feel the tension in your jaw muscles, your temples, your cheeks. Tighter. Harder. Make your whole face tense. Scrunch everything. Forehead wrinkled. Eyes squeezed shut. Nose scrunched. Jaw clenched. Mouth tight. Everything tight. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release everything at once. Let your jaw drop open slightly. Let your face go completely slack. Eyebrows smooth. Eyes soft even if closed. Jaw hanging loose. Let your face be empty of expression, blank, soft. Feel the difference in your temples, your jaw joints. Fourth, your whole face and head. Point one more time with your face, because facial tension is directly connected to mental tension. Scrunch your entire face into the tightest ball you can make. Eyes shut tight, forehead wrinkled hard, nose scrunched, lips pursed, jaw clenched. Everything contracting toward the center of your face. As tight as possible. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let it all go at once. Let your whole face melt. Let it be completely soft, completely expressionless. If your mouth falls open, that's fine. Let your face be like a sleeping person's face. All tension gone. Doit now. Go through all 4 areas. Hands, shoulders, jaw, face. Tense hard for 5 seconds. Release completely. Notice the contrast. Take your time with each one. Go. Space for practice.
We're going to move through 4 areas of your body. For each one, tense as hard as you can for 5 seconds, and then release completely. First, your hands and forearms make tight fists. Squeeze as hard as you can. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now release. Let your hands go totally limp. Feel the difference. Second, your shoulders and upper back. Lift your shoulders toward your ears as high as they'll go. Hold for 1, 2, and release. Let them drop heavily. Notice the softening. Third, your jaw and your face. Clench your teeth and tense your whole face. Hold for 2, 5, release. Let your face soften completely. Fourth, your entire face again. Scrunch everything tight. Jaw, forehead, all of it. Release. Let your whole face melt, empty of tension. Take a breath. Feel the contrast in your body. Let everything stay soft and relaxed.
Your body probably feels substantially different now. Heavier, softer, more settled, like you're sinking into the mattress rather than lying on top of it. That heaviness is your muscles actually relaxing. Most of the time when people think they're relaxed, they're just less tense. This is actual relaxation. Notice how your breathing has probably deepened without you trying. When muscles release, breath releases. They're connected. Tense muscles restrict breathing. Relaxed muscles allow full breaths. And notice your thoughts. They're probably quieter now, moving even slower than before. There's a direct connection between muscle tension and thought intensity. Tense body creates urgent thoughts. Relaxed body allows calmer thoughts. Why this works? Chronic muscle tension keeps your sympathetic nervous system activated, your fight or flight system. Your body is literally holding the posture of stress, preparing for action, ready for threat. That physical readiness signals to your brain. Something is wrong. Stay alert. Keep scanning for danger. When you deliberately release muscle tension, you send the opposite signal. Nothing to prepare for. No threat to respond to. Safe to stand down. Your brain takes cues from your body. Soft muscles signal safety. Safety allows rest. But here's the key insight. You can't just tell tense muscles to relax. They don't respond to commands. They've been tense for so long they've forgotten what relaxation feels like. That's why the contrast method works. You give your muscles something to compare against. You show them, this is maximum tension and this is complete release. The difference is unmistakable. Your nervous system recognizes it immediately. There's also a neurological component. When you tense muscles hard, you trigger something called reciprocal inhibition. After maximum contraction, muscles naturally release more completely than they could through willpower alone. It's a biological reflex you're leveraging. Extended practice. The 4 areas we just worked with are where most people hold stress. But you can apply this technique to any muscle group: your legs, your glutes, your abdomen, your chest, your upper arms. If you have time and want deeper release, work through your entire body systematically. Some people build this into their bedtime routine. Every night, 5 minutes of progressive muscle relaxation. Their body learns to associate this with sleep preparation. It becomes a conditioned trigger. When they start the tension release sequence, their brain knows sleep is coming and begins producing melatonin automatically. You can also use abbreviated versions. Just hands if that's all you have time for. Just shoulders if you notice tension there during the day. The technique scales to whatever time you have available. Point 4 techniques down now. You've addressed thoughts, body, breath, and muscles. Your nervous system has shifted substantially. But there's one more element we need to work with: what your mind is doing with its attention. That's next. Chapter 5: The Counting Trick. Occupy your brain. She'd try to meditate before bed. Close her eyes, focus on her breath. Her mind would wander within 10 seconds. Try to visualize peaceful scenes: a beach, a forest, a calm lake. Anxious thoughts would crash in immediately, scattering the peaceful images. Try to focus on nothing. Empty her mind. Impossible. The harder she tried to think of nothing, the more thoughts appeared to fill the void. Then she learned something crucial: your mind needs something to do. It's designed to process information. Trying to give it nothing to process creates a vacuum, and anxious thoughts rush in to fill that vacuum. But give your mind a simple, boring task, something that occupies just enough attention to keep it busy without creating new stress, and it calms down. Someone taught her, count backward from 100 by threes. Simple enough to do while exhausted. Complex enough to require attention. Boring enough not to generate more thoughts. Point 100. 97, 94, 91. Her racing thoughts had nowhere to go. Her mind was busy with the counting. Not frantically busy, not stressed busy, just occupied. Her anxious thoughts couldn't spiral because her attention was being used for something else. Something neutral, something harmless. She uses this almost every night now. Sometimes she makes it all the way to 0. Sometimes she falls asleep at 73. Either way works. That here's what most people don't understand about racing thoughts. They're not random. Your mind is racing because it's trying to protect you. It's scanning for problems to solve, threats to prepare for, information you might be forgetting. That's its job. When you just tell it to stop, to be quiet, to shut up, it panics. It thinks you're ignoring danger. So it thinks harder, scans faster, generates more scenarios to get your attention. But if you give your mind a different job, something specific to focus on, something that occupies attention without creating anxiety, it relaxes. It's not ignoring you. It's just busy with something else. Something that feels productive enough to satisfy the mind's need to be doing something, but neutral enough not to generate more worried. We're going to use counting backward by threes. This is the optimal level of difficulty for most people. Boring enough not to create stress, engaging enough to hold attention. Counting by ones is too easy. Your mind wanders. Counting by sevens is too hard. It creates frustration. Threes is the sweet spot. The practice. Start at 100. Count backward, subtracting 3 each time. 100, 97, 94, 91, 88, 85. If you lose track of where you are, that's completely fine. Not a problem. Just start over at 100. The point isn't to successfully complete the task. The point is to give your mind something repetitive and slightly engaging to do. When you notice thoughts drifting to worries, and they will, gently redirect. Not forcefully, not with frustration or judgment. Just, oh, I'm thinking about tomorrow. Back to counting. Where was I? 73, 70, 67. Count at whatever pace feels natural. Some people count fast, 1 number per second. Some people count slowly, taking a breath between numbers. Find your rhythm. The pace matters less than the consistency of attention. You can count silently in your mind, or whisper the numbers, or even say them out loud if you're alone. Some people find that vocalizing helps keep attention anchored. Experiment with what works for you. DOIT now. Count backward from 100 by threes. When your mind wanders to worry, bring it back to counting. Do this for 1 to 2 minutes. You'll probably get down to the 40s or 50s in that time, depending on your pace. Go.
We'll begin counting backward from 100, subtracting 3 each time. Count along with me. 100, 97, 94, 91, 88, 85, 82, 79, 76, 73, 70, 67, 61, 68, 55, 53, 49, 46, 43, 40. If you lose track, that's completely fine. We'll start again at a 100. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is gentle focus, coming back to the numbers each time your mind drift.
What happened to your racing thoughts while you were counting? They probably receded significantly, not gone entirely. They might have been hovering in the background, but they weren't dominating your attention. They weren't in control. You were directing your attention deliberately, and your thoughts had to wait their turn. That shift from thoughts controlling you to you directing your attention, that's huge. That's the difference between being helplessly swept along by thought currents and steering your own mental ship. Why this works? Racing thoughts primarily originate in your limbic system, the emotional, survival-oriented part of your brain. The limbic system doesn't use words or logic. It deals in feelings, urges, instincts. When it's activated, it generates that sense of urgency, that feeling that something is wrong or dangerous. When you engage in a simple cognitive task like counting backward by threes, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the logical, reasoning part of your brain. The prefrontal cortex does use words and numbers and sequential processing. It's a different neural network than the one generating your anxious thoughts. Your brain has limited processing capacity. When the prefrontal cortex is occupied with counting, there's less bandwidth available for the limbic system's anxiety generation. The two systems compete for resources. By deliberately activating the prefrontal cortex, you're essentially redirecting brain resources away from worry and toward neutral cognitive processing. This is also why this technique works better than trying to just stop thinking. When you try to stop thinking, you're still using the same systems that generate thoughts. It's like trying to use fire to put out fire. But when you count, you're using a different system. You're outcompeting the thought generation rather than fighting it directly. But there's another element too. The counting is boring. Deliberately, strategically boring. Boredom is actually useful here because exciting or interesting thoughts would generate more mental activation. Counting backward by threes is just engaging enough to hold attention, but boring enough not to create new activation. It's mentally calming in its dullness. Variations. Some people prefer counting backward from 300 by sevens. This is harder and requires more focus, which can be helpful if your thoughts are particularly intense and the threes aren't engaging enough to hold your attention. Some people prefer the alphabet backward. Start at Z and work toward A. This is roughly equivalent in difficulty to counting by threes. Some people add visualization. As you count each number, visualize it written out in your mind. See the number 94, then watch it change to 91, then 88. The visual component can help anchor attention more strongly. Some people use this technique in combination with breath, one number per exhale. 100 on the out breath, breathe in, 97 on the next out breath. This combines the attention-occupying effect with the breath-based nervous system calming. Find what works for your brain. The goal is the same regardless of variation. Give your mind a job that's simple, repetitive, and neutral, so it doesn't have bandwidth left over for generating racing thoughts. Use it anytime. This technique isn't just for bedtime. Use it during the day when you notice anxiety building. Use it in the middle of the night if you wake with your mind spinning. Use it in any moment when you need to interrupt a thought spiral quickly. It's portable. It requires no tools, no special circumstances, no privacy. You can count backward by threes in a meeting, on a bus, in a crowded room. No one knows you're doing it. It's your secret nervous system reset button. 0.5 techniques down. You're over halfway through. Your mind is probably significantly quieter now than when you started. The techniques are compounding. Each one builds on the effects of the previous ones. Next, we're going to work with present moment reality. Chapter 6. Name what's real. The 5-4-3-2-1 anchor. His thoughts were never about now. They were always about what might happen or what already happened. He'd lie there catastrophizing future scenarios that hadn't occurred and probably wouldn't. Or he'd replay past conversations, analyzing what he should have said differently, what the other person might have meant, what consequences might still be coming. His mind time-traveled constantly. future anxieties, past regrets, never just now, until someone asked him a simple question: what's actually real right now? In this exact moment, he stopped, looked around his dark bedroom, listened to the silence, felt the bed beneath him. Nothing bad was actually happening. The catastrophes were in his head, not in reality. The problems he was solving didn't exist in present time. Right now, in this moment, he was just lying in a safe room, in a comfortable bed, breathing easily. The shift was immediate. His racing thoughts had all been about imagined time, past or future. But the present moment? The present moment was actually okay. This technique pulls you out of mental time travel and anchors you in sensory reality. Right now, this moment, where usually nothing is actually wrong, that here's a truth about racing thoughts that changes everything when you really understand it. Anxious thoughts are almost never about the present moment. Think about it. When's the last time you lay awake worried about what's happening right now? You don't. You worry about what might happen tomorrow, next week, next year. You ruminate about what happened yesterday, last month, 5 years ago. Your mind is always somewhere else, some other time. But anxiety can't exist in the true present. Anxiety is your mind's attempt to prepare for or process time-displaced events. When you're fully in the present moment, genuinely, completely present, anxiety dissolves. Not because you've solved anything, but because there's nothing to be anxious about in pure nowness. The challenge is getting into the present moment when your thoughts are spinning. You can't think your way there. Thinking keeps you in time travel mode. But you can sense your way there. You can use your five senses to ground yourself in what's actually real, actually happening, actually here right now. This is called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. It's particularly powerful for acute anxiety or panic, but it works just as well for general racing thoughts. We're going to move through your five senses systematically, using each one to anchor you more deeply in present reality. To practice 5 things you can see. Look around your environment. Even if it's dark, there are things you can see. Name 5 things, silently or in a whisper. Be specific. Not just furniture, but brown wooden nightstand. Not just ceiling, but white ceiling with a small crack near the corner. Actually look at each thing as you name it. See it clearly. Don't rush this. Take your time with each thing. Let your eyes actually focus on it. Notice details you usually don't pay attention to. This isn't busy work. You're pulling your attention out of your thought stream and anchoring it in visual reality. Point 4 things you can physically feel. Now shift to touch, to physical sensation. Not emotions, physical touch. The mattress beneath you, what does it actually feel like? Firm? Soft? Cool? Warm? The weight of your blanket, heavy or light? The texture of your sheets against your skin? The pillow against your cheek or neck? Air movement on your face, still or slightly moving? Actually feel these things. Don't just think bed and move on. Spend a few seconds with each sensation, really noticing it. Let your attention fully inhabit the felt sense of physical contact and texture. Point 3 things you can hear. Close your eyes if they're open. Listen. Even in silence, there's sound. Your own breath, the sound of air moving in and out. Distant traffic, the house settling, a clock ticking, the refrigerator humming, wind outside, water in pipes, electronics buzzing. Listen for sounds you usually filter out. Let your hearing become sensitive. Notice sounds at different distances, nearby sounds, distant sounds. You're not analyzing the sounds, just noting their presence. There's traffic. There's my breath. There's the house creaking. 2 things you can smell. This one is harder for most people. You might not smell anything obvious right now. That's okay. If you can smell something, your pillow, the air, your clothes, name it. If you can't smell anything specific, imagine 2 smells you like. Or remember what your room typically smells like. Or notice if the air has any quality to it at all. Stale, fresh, neutral. If you're really stuck, you can modify this. Name 2 smells you like, even if you're not smelling them right now. Visualizing a smell can be almost as grounding as actually smelling it. Point one thing you're grateful for in this moment. This doesn't have to be profound or life-changing. Don't pressure yourself to feel deep gratitude for existence or something philosophical. Keep it simple and immediate. I'm grateful my bed is comfortable. I'm grateful I'm warm. I'm grateful I can breathe easily. I'm grateful it's quiet. Something small, concrete, and true right now. This final step shifts you from pure sensory anchoring into a positive emotional space, however slight. It's the bridge from I'm present to being present is actually okay. Do it now. Go through all 5 senses deliberately. 5 things you see, 3 you feel, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you're grateful for. Take your time. This might take 2 to 3 minutes if you do it thoroughly. That's fine. The point isn't speed, it's anchoring. Go.
We're going to move through a grounding practice using your senses. Take your time with each step. 5 things you can see. Look around your space. Gently name 5 things you can see, either silently or in a whisper. Be specific. Notice details. Let your eyes really focus on each thing before you move on. 4 things you can physically feel. Shift your attention to touch. Notice the sensations, the surface beneath you, the weight of your blanket, the texture of your clothes, the air on your skin. Name 4 physical sensations, slowly, one at a time. 3 things you can hear. Close your eyes if you want to. Listen for sounds close to you, then sounds farther away. Name 3 things you can hear without analyzing them, just noticing. 2 things you can smell. If you notice a smell around you, name it. If you don't smell anything specific, that's okay. Remember or imagine 2 scents you like. Take your time. One thing you're grateful for. Choose something simple, true, and present in this moment. Maybe comfort, warmth, or just the fact that you're here, breathing. Let yourself settle into this grounded feeling. Stay with it for a few breaths.
How do you feel now? Probably more here, more solid, more real, like you've dropped back into your body and your environment instead of floating in abstract thought space. Your racing thoughts probably quieted significantly during that practice, not because you fought them, but because you were genuinely occupied with sensory processing. You couldn't simultaneously be catastrophizing about tomorrow while counting ceiling tiles and feeling the texture of your sheets. Your attention can only be in one place at once. Notice if your breathing has deepened. Notice if your body feels heavier, more settled. These are signs that your nervous system has downregulated. You've moved from activation toward rest through the simple act of anchoring in present moment sensory reality. Why this works? This technique works on multiple levels simultaneously. First, it breaks the time travel pattern. Your thoughts were in future or past. This technique forces your attention into now. Sensory information only exists in the present. You can't see tomorrow's ceiling or hear yesterday's traffic. You can only perceive what's here right now. Second, it occupies your cognitive bandwidth. Your brain is busy processing visual input, tactile input, auditory input. That processing takes resources away from thought generation. You're crowding out anxious thoughts with sensory data. Third, it activates different neural networks. Anxious rumination happens in networks that deal with abstract thought, prediction, memory. Sensory processing happens in completely different networks. By deliberately activating sensory networks, you're shifting brain activity away from the networks that generate racing thoughts. Fourth, it sends a safety signal to your nervous system. When you systematically notice your environment in detail, your nervous system interprets this as, we're alert to surroundings, we're aware of our situation, everything is under control. That's very different from the scattered, frantic scanning that happens during racing thoughts. This is deliberate, calm noticing. Your nervous system recognizes the difference and starts to power down the alarm systems. Finally, there's the element of present moment okayness. When you actually check reality, when you look around and genuinely assess what's happening right now, you usually discover that right now is actually okay. Not perfect, not ideal, but okay. Not dangerous, not catastrophic. Just this moment, which is usually relatively neutral or even pleasant, that realization, that present reality is okay even when thoughts are catastrophic, creates a crack in anxiety's armor. Anxiety insists that something is terribly wrong. But when you check reality, you discover that anxiety is lying. The present moment is usually fine. The danger is in imagined time, not real time. When to use this? This technique is particularly powerful during panic attacks or acute anxiety spikes. When your heart is racing, when thoughts are spiraling fastest, when you feel most overwhelmed. The 5-4-3-2-1 can interrupt even severe anxiety by forcing attention into present moment reality, but it also works for general racing thoughts at bedtime. It's grounding. It's calming. It proves to you that right now, in this moment, nothing is actually wrong. That proof, that reality check, is powerful medicine for an anxious mind. You can also use shortened versions when you don't have time for the full sequence. Just 3 things you see, 2 you feel, 1 you hear. Or even simpler, just name 5 things you can see. Any version that brings you back to sensory present helps. Some people build this into daily routines as a preventive practice. Every evening during dinner, they quietly do a shortened 3-2-1. 3 things they see, 2 they feel, 1 they're grateful for. This trains the nervous system to access present moment awareness easily, making it more accessible when you really need it at bedtime. 6 techniques down. 2 to go. You're probably noticing that your nervous system state is completely different now than when you started. The racing thoughts that felt impossible to manage 15 minutes ago have been systematically calmed through these practices. You've proven to yourself that you have more control than you thought. Next, we're going to use your body's natural sleep preparation system. Chapter 7 of the Body Scan. Sleep Mode Activation. She'd tried body scans before. Downloaded meditation apps that droned on for 20 minutes. Bring your awareness to your left big toe. Notice any sensations. Now move to your second toe. Notice any sensations. Her mind would wander immediately. She'd get frustrated. Quit. But this version was different. Fast. Directive. Moving through the body quickly rather than dwelling. 60 seconds from head to toe. No philosophical narration. Just notice, breathe, release. Move on. She learned something crucial. The point of a body scan isn't to relax each body part perfectly. The point is to move attention through your body systematically, which signals to your brain, we're doing a pre-sleep ritual. Your brain recognizes patterns. When the same thing happens before sleep consistently, your brain learns. This pattern means sleep time. Now when she starts the body scan, her brain begins producing melatonin automatically. She's trained her nervous system to recognize this as a sleep cue. The body scan has become her sleep trigger. Your brain doesn't have a button you can press to instantly produce sleep. It doesn't work that way. But your brain does respond powerfully to patterns, to rituals, to consistent pre-sleep cues. When you do the same thing every single night before bed, your brain learns to associate that thing with sleep. Eventually, just starting the ritual triggers sleep preparation. Melatonin production increases, core body temperature drops slightly, brain waves begin shifting towards sleep frequencies. A body scan, done the same way every night, becomes that trigger. It's like Pavlov's dog salivating at a bell. You're conditioning your brain. Body scan equals sleep time, but we're also using tonight's body scan for an immediate purpose, locating and releasing any remaining physical tension you're holding. You've already done progressive muscle relaxation in Chapter 4, but this is a different approach. Instead of deliberately tensing and releasing, you're simply scanning for tension and breathing into it, letting it soften. The practice. We're going to move through your body, either top to bottom or bottom to top, your choice. At each area, the process is the same. Notice if there's tension, breathe into it. Let it soften on the exhale. Don't force anything. Just invite softening. I'll guide you top to bottom, but you can reverse the order if you prefer, starting with feet. Head and face. Bring attention to your forehead and temples. Are you holding tension here? Frowning? Wrinkling your brow? Breathe in. As you exhale, let your forehead smooth completely. Let your temples soften, your eyes. Even with eyes closed, you might be squeezing them. Let them rest easy in their sockets. Soft eyes, your jaw. This is where most people hold enormous tension without realizing it. Is your jaw clenched? Are your teeth touching? Let your jaw hang loose. Let your mouth open slightly if that helps. Completely slack jaw, your neck and throat. Breathe into any tightness. Let the exhale carry tension away. Shoulders and chest, your shoulders. They're probably still holding some tension even after the earlier work. Let them be heavy. Let them sink down and back. No effort to hold them anywhere. Your chest. Feel it rise and fall with breath. No holding, no bracing. Let your rib cage be soft, your upper back, between your shoulder blades. Any tightness there? Breathe into it. Release. Arms and hands, your upper arms. Soft. Heavy, your forearms. Completely relaxed, your hands. Let them be limp, lifeless. No tension in fingers or palms, torso and core, your belly. Let it be soft. No holding, no sucking in, just soft. Your lower back. Common place for tension. Breathe into any tightness. Let the exhale release it. Your hips and buttocks. Let them be heavy into the mattress. Legs and feet, your thighs. Completely relaxed, your calves. Soft, heavy, your feet and toes. The last bit of tension. Let it all drain into the earth. Heavy feet, relaxed toes, full body. Now scan your whole body at once. Feel your entire body as one thing. Heavy, soft, sinking into the bed. Supported completely. Nothing to hold. Nothing to do. Just being. Doit now. Move through each area. Notice tension. Breathe into it. Let it soften on exhale. Don't rush, but don't linger too long on any one spot either. Smooth, continuous movement through your whole body. 1 to 2 minutes. Go.
We're going to move through your body from head to toe. At each area, simply notice any tension. Breathe into it and let it soften on the exhale. No forcing, just inviting ease. Start with your forehead and temples. Notice any tightness. Breathe in, and as you exhale, let your forehead smooth. Let your temples soften. Your eyes, let them rest gently in their sockets. Soft eyes, your jaw. Notice if your teeth are touching. Let your jaw hang loose, completely slack. Your neck and throat. Breathe in and let the exhale release any tightness. Move to your shoulders. Let them be heavy, sinking down and back. No effort to hold them anywhere. Your chest. Feel it rise and fall naturally. Let the rib cage soften. Your upper back. Between your shoulder blades. Breathe into any tension and release on the exhale. Your arms. Upper arms soft. Forearms relaxed. Hands loose and limp. No tension in the fingers. Your belly. Let it be completely soft. No holding. Your lower back. Gently breathe into any tightness and let it go. Your hips and buttocks. Let them sink heavily into the surface beneath you. Your thighs. Relax. Your calves. Soft, heavy. Your feet and toes. Let all remaining tension drain downward. Relax toes. Now sense your whole body at once. Heavy, soft, supported completely. Nothing to hold, nothing to do, just being here. Stay with this feeling for a few breaths.
Your body should feel substantially heavier now, like you're made of sand, sinking into the mattress. Your muscles have released layers of tension you didn't even know you were holding. This heaviness, this is what actual relaxation feels like. Not just less tense, but genuinely, deeply relaxed. Your breath has probably slowed and deepened without effort. When your body is this relaxed, breath naturally becomes slower and fuller. Everything is connected, and your mind? Probably very quiet now. Maybe still some thoughts, but distant, slow, easy to ignore. The urgency is gone. The spinning has stopped. You're just here, heavy, relaxed, Present. Why this works. The body scan works on several levels. First, it's a systematic inventory of your physical state. You're checking in with every part of yourself, which creates a sense of completeness, of wholeness. Nothing is left out. This completeness feels settling to the nervous system. Second, by moving attention through the body methodically, you're creating a pattern. Your brain recognizes patterns and responds to them. When you do this same scan in the same order every night, your brain learns the sequence. Eventually, just starting the scan triggers the response. Oh, we're doing the sleep thing. Time to produce melatonin. Time to lower arousal. Time to prepare for rest. This is classical conditioning. Same principle as Pavlov's famous experiment. You're training your brain to associate this specific sequence of attention moving with sleep preparation. Over time, the association becomes automatic. You start the body scan, and your brain automatically initiates sleep processes. Third, you're releasing remaining microtensions throughout your body. Even after the earlier techniques, you're probably still holding small amounts of tension in various places. This skin finds those spots and releases them. Total body softness is what's required for deep sleep. You're creating those conditions. Fourth, the rhythmic, repetitive nature of the scan is inherently calming. Moving attention in a consistent pattern, the same process repeated for each body part, creates a mental rhythm that's soothing. It's almost hypnotic in its consistency. Make it a ritual. The real power of this technique multiplies exponentially with repetition. This isn't just a one-time practice. This is something you build into your nightly routine. Same time every night. Same sequence. Same approach. Within a week or two of consistent practice, your brain will start recognizing the pattern. By week 3 or 4, just beginning the body scan will trigger sleepiness. You're literally training your nervous system to respond to this cue. Keep the scan consistent. Same order, either always top to bottom or always bottom to top. Same pace, not rushed, not too slow. Same basic instruction to yourself. Notice, breathe, release. The consistency is what creates the conditioning. Some people combine this with other rituals. They dim lights, do the 4-7-8 breath 3 times, then do the body scan. The entire sequence becomes the sleep trigger. The more consistent you are, the more powerful the trigger becomes. Extended version. If you have more time and want deeper work, you can slow this scan way down. Spend 30 seconds on each body part. Really feel into every area. Notice subtle sensations. This extended version can take 10 to 15 minutes, and it creates profound relaxation. Some people do this version on weekends when they have more time, and the shorter version on weeknights. You can also combine body scan with visualization. As you scan each area, visualize tension draining away like dark water flowing out of your body. Or visualize each area filling with warm, golden light. The visualization adds another layer to the practice. Point 7 techniques complete. You've moved through stopping the thought fight, grounding in body, resetting breath, releasing muscle tension, occupying your mind, anchoring in present reality, and scanning your body into rest mode. Your nervous system has completely shifted from activated to rest mode. One technique left, and it addresses the root cause of why thoughts won't stop. Chapter 8. The Worry Appointment. Stop the night spiral that he'd lie there trying to solve problems that couldn't be solved at midnight. His mind would chase solutions in circles, spinning through the same questions over and over. How do I handle that situation? What if this happens? What should I do about that? He couldn't let go because the problems felt urgent. What if he forgot to address them? What if they got worse? His brain wouldn't release its grip until it solved these things, or at least felt like it had a plan, but nothing ever got solved. He'd think in circles for hours, exhaust himself, fall asleep from pure fatigue without reaching any conclusions, then wake up and realize the problems were still there, unsolved. All that mental energy wasted. Then someone taught him something that changed everything. Schedule the worry. Tell your brain explicitly that you'll deal with these issues, just not now. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., you'll sit down and think through all of this properly. You'll give these problems your full attention at an appropriate time. For now, your job is sleep. That he was skeptical. Too simple, but desperate enough to try. The first night, his mind pushed back hard. But what if we forget? What if this is important? We need to figure this out now. He had to reassure his brain multiple times. It's okay. We have a plan. We'll handle it at 4 p.m. tomorrow. I promise. Right now, we sleep. Gradually, his brain accepted the deal. The racing thoughts stopped not because he'd forced them to, but because his mind had a plan. It wasn't ignoring problems. It was postponing them to a time when problem solving would actually be effective. This chapter is about making a deal with your brain. Not stop worrying, just worry later at a scheduled time. Here's the core truth about most nighttime racing thoughts. They're your brain trying to solve problems or remember important things. It's not trying to torture you. It's not malfunctioning. It's doing its job. The problem is timing. 3 in the morning is not an effective time to solve complex problems. But your brain doesn't understand that. It thinks, this is important, therefore we must address it immediately. You can't tell your brain to stop caring about important things. That won't work. Your brain's job is to care about important things, to solve problems, to keep you safe. But you can tell your brain, not now, later, at a specific time when we can actually do something about it. This is called a worry appointment. The concept comes from cognitive behavioral therapy for anxiety, and it's devastatingly effective when done properly. You're not suppressing worry. You're not pretending problems don't exist. You're simply postponing worry to an appropriate time. The practice. Think about the main thoughts keeping you awake right now. What's your mind spinning about? Work problems? Relationship issues? Financial concerns? Health worries? Something you forgot to do? Something you need to remember? Identify the top 3 to 5 things. You don't need to list everything. Just the main themes your mind keeps returning to. Now, out loud if possible, speak to your brain directly. Yes, this feels strange. Do it anyway. I hear you, brain. These things matter. Name them specifically. The work deadline, the conversation with mom, the financial decision. These are real concerns. We need to address them. Pause. Let that acknowledgement land. You're not dismissing these thoughts. You're validating them. We will address these things. Tomorrow at specific time, I'm going to sit down and think through each of these issues. I'll give them my full attention. I'll make plans. I'll take action if needed. Be specific about the time. Not tomorrow sometime or when I wake up. Say tomorrow at 3 p.m. or tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. during my coffee. Your brain needs a specific time to trust the plan. But right now, at current time, our job is sleep, not problem solving. Sleep, rest, recovery. Tomorrow at the time you specified, our job is problem solving. Right now, sleep. If your mind pushes back, and it probably will, reassure it again. I know these feel urgent. I understand. But solving them right now, when I'm exhausted, won't help. I'll think more clearly tomorrow. We have a plan. It's okay to let go for now. You can also write things down if it helps. Keep paper and pen next to your bed. When a worry appears, write it down. Talk to boss about project. Call mom. Research health insurance options. The act of writing externalizes the worry. It's captured on paper, so your brain doesn't have to hold on to it anymore. After writing it down, tell your brain, got it. It's written down. We won't forget. We'll handle it tomorrow during our worry appointment. For now, sleep. Do it now. Identify what's keeping you awake. Acknowledge it matters. Schedule a specific time tomorrow to address it. Give yourself explicit permission to let it go for now because you have a plan. If needed, write things down. Physical externalization often helps the mind release its grip. Do this now. Speak to your brain. Make the appointment. 60 to 90 seconds. Go. How does that feel? Probably lighter. Like you've set down something heavy you've been carrying. Your shoulders might have dropped. Your breathing might have deepened. The urgency might have drained away. That shift happened because you gave your brain what it actually needed, not dismissal, but a plan. Your brain's job is to solve problems and remember important things. When you tell it, we'll handle this tomorrow at 3 p.m., it can relax. The problem is acknowledged. The timing is set. There's a plan in place. For now, rest is appropriate. Notice if your thoughts have quieted significantly. They probably have. Not because you suppressed them, but because you made a deal your brain could accept. Why this works? This technique addresses the root cause of most nighttime rumination. Your brain thinks it needs to solve something right now. When you schedule worry for later, you're not suppressing or avoiding. You're postponing. Your brain accepts postponement much more readily than it accepts suppression. Suppression, don't think about this, activates what's called the rebound effect. The harder you try not to think about something, the more it intrudes. Classic example. Try not to think about a pink elephant. Impossible. The act of trying not to think about it makes you think about it more. But postponement doesn't trigger the rebound effect. You're not saying, don't think about this. You're saying, think about this later, at this specific time. That's a completely different instruction. Your brain can work with that. There's also an element of trust building. When you make worry appointments and actually follow through. When you sit down at 3 p.m. the next day and actually think through those issues, your brain learns to trust the system. The first few times, your brain might be skeptical. Are we really going to deal with this tomorrow? But when you demonstrate consistency, your brain learns. Yes, we actually do handle things at the scheduled time. This builds trust in the process. Studies have shown that people who use scheduled worry time see significant reductions in nighttime rumination. The technique trains your brain to consolidate worry into specific time blocks rather than letting it spread throughout the day and night. Follow-through is crucial. This technique only works long-term if you actually do the worry appointments. If you schedule problem solving for 3 p.m. tomorrow, you must sit down at 3 p.m. tomorrow and think through those issues. Even if you don't solve everything, even if you just spend 15 minutes considering the problems, you need to show your brain you meant what you said, that if you consistently schedule worry time but never follow through, your brain stops trusting the system. It returns to nighttime rumination because it learns the appointments are fake, just tricks to get it to shut up temporarily. So, build the worry appointment into your schedule for real. Set a reminder. Actually do it. It doesn't need to be long. 15 to 30 minutes is usually enough. Sit down with your list of concerns. Think them through. Make whatever decisions or plans you can. Write action steps if needed. Then you're done until the next worry appointment. Many people find that when they sit down for their scheduled worry time, the issues don't seem as urgent or catastrophic as they did at midnight. That's because you're thinking about them when you're rested, when your prefrontal cortex is fully online, when you have perspective. Nighttime worries are almost always distorted by fatigue and darkness. Daytime consideration is more balanced, dealing with urgent fears. Sometimes the worries aren't about practical problems, they're catastrophic fears. What if I have cancer? What if I lose my job? What if my partner leaves me? These feel too urgent to postpone. Even these can be scheduled. Tell your brain, I hear that fear. If it's still present tomorrow, we'll sit with it during our appointment. We'll consider what's actually likely versus what's just fear. We'll make plans if needed. But right now, catastrophizing doesn't help. We need rest to think clearly about this. For genuine emergencies, something that truly requires immediate action, you'll know. Real emergencies don't feel like spinning thoughts. They feel like clear imperatives. If something genuinely can't wait, get up and handle it. But most things that feel urgent at midnight are not actually emergencies. They're just thoughts amplified by darkness and fatigue. The complete sequence. You now have all 8 techniques. Each one addresses a different aspect of why your mind races and how to calm it. Used together, they create a complete system for shifting from activated racing thoughts to calm enough for sleep. Review the 8:1. Stop fighting thoughts. Watch instead of battle. 2. Ground in your body. Feel your feet. 3. Reset your breath. 4-7-8 pattern. 4. Release muscle tension. Tense and release. 5. Occupy your mind. Count backward by threes. 6. Anchor in present reality. 5-4-3-2-1 senses. 7. Scan your body into rest. Systematic release. 8. Schedule your worries. Postpone to tomorrow. You don't need to use all 8 every night. Some nights, techniques 2, 3, and 4 will be enough. Some nights you'll need the full sequence. Some nights you'll develop your own order based on what you need most. These techniques are tools in your toolkit. Learn which ones work best for you. Build your personal pre-sleep sequence. Practice them until they become automatic. Your nervous system will learn the pattern and respond faster each time. 8 minutes. 8 techniques. That's all it takes to shift from racing thoughts to quiet mind. You've just proven it to yourself. You've been here for about 40 minutes now, working through these 8 techniques. Your mind is completely different than when you started. The racing thoughts that felt impossible to manage are now quiet, or at least manageable. The urgent spiral has slowed to a gentle current you can easily navigate. You didn't achieve perfect mental silence. That was never the goal. Perfect silence isn't realistic and isn't necessary. What you achieved is this: enough quiet, enough calm, enough space that sleep becomes possible instead of impossible. That's everything. That's the shift that matters. Think about where you were when you pressed play on this audiobook. Lying awake, frustrated, exhausted but wired. Thoughts spinning faster than you could track. Now notice where you are. Your body is soft, heavy, relaxed. Your breath is slow and deep. Your thoughts are distant, quiet, easy to ignore. You're here, present, calm enough. That shift didn't happen through force or willpower. It happened through working with your nervous system instead of fighting against it. You learned 8 specific ways to interrupt the thought spiral and downregulate activation. You stopped fighting your thoughts and started observing them. You grounded your attention in your physical body. You used breath to directly signal safety to your brain. You released muscle tension through contrast. You occupied your mind with neutral tasks. You anchored yourself in present moment sensory reality. You systematically scanned your body into rest mode. You made a deal with your brain to postpone worries until tomorrow. Each technique addressed a different piece of why thoughts race. Together, they form a complete system, not a rigid system that must be followed perfectly every time, but a flexible toolkit you can adapt to your needs each night. You don't need flawless execution. You don't need to do this perfectly. You need to do it messily, imperfectly, while exhausted and frustrated. That's real life. That's where these techniques actually live and work. Perfect conditions never come. But these techniques work in imperfect conditions, which is what makes them valuable. Some nights, 1 or 2 techniques will be enough. Maybe just the 4-7-8 breath and you're calm. Maybe just grounding in your feet. Some nights you'll need the full sequence, maybe even twice through. Some nights won't work at all despite your best efforts. And that's okay too. No technique works 100% of the time. What matters is that you have options now. You have tools. You've moved from helpless to capable of building your personal routine. Now let's talk about how to actually use these techniques going forward. Not just tonight, but every night. Because the real transformation comes from consistent practice, not one-time use. Start with your top 3 that you probably noticed during this session that some techniques resonated more than others. Maybe the body scan felt particularly calming. Maybe the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding really worked for you. Maybe counting backward was surprisingly effective. Choose your top 3 favorites. Write them down. These become your core sequence that you use every night. Not all 8. That's too much to sustain long term. Just 3. Your 3 most effective tools. For most people, a good basic sequence is for 7-8 breath, 60 seconds, progressive muscle relaxation, 60 seconds, body scan, 60 seconds. 3 minutes total. That's sustainable every single night, but your 3 might be different. Maybe you need grounding in feet, counting backward, worry appointment. That's fine. Build your personal sequence based on what actually works for your nervous system. Practice even on good nights. This is crucial. Don't only use these techniques when you're desperate. Use them every night, even nights when you're not particularly wired. Even nights when you think you don't need them. Why? Because consistent practice trains your nervous system. Your body learns the pattern. Your brain recognizes, oh, we're doing the calming sequence. Time to prepare for sleep. Eventually, just starting your routine triggers sleepiness automatically. But if you only use these techniques when you're in crisis, they're emergency interventions. If you use them every night, they become sleep triggers. Much more powerful. Create environmental cues. Pair your techniques with environmental signals. Same time every night. Same place. Same order. Maybe you dim the lights to a specific level. Then do your 3 techniques. Then get into bed. The environmental cues become part of the pattern. Your brain learns. Dim lights plus techniques plus bed equals sleep time. All of it together forms one unified signal. The more consistent you are, the stronger the conditioning becomes. Track what works. Keep a simple note on your phone. After using the techniques each night, jot down which ones you used, how long it took to feel calm, how well you slept. Over 2 weeks, you'll see patterns. You'll discover which combinations work best for you on different types of nights. Maybe you'll notice, On nights when I'm anxious about specific things, the worry appointment is essential. On nights when I'm just wound up without clear reason, the physical techniques work better. This data helps you customize your approach. Adjust as needed. Your needs will change. A technique that works great for months might stop being as effective. That's normal. Your nervous system adapts. When something stops working, rotate to different techniques. Keep your practice fresh. Also adjust for intensity. Some nights you need the full 8-minute sequence. Some nights, just 2 minutes. Listen to your body. Use what you need. When techniques aren't enough, let's be honest about something. Sometimes these techniques won't be enough. Some nights, you'll do everything right and still lie awake for hours. That doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean the techniques don't work. It means you're human and sleep is complex. Recognize when it's more than normal racing thoughts. If you're using these techniques consistently and still struggling with sleep most nights, something else might be going on. Clinical anxiety disorders, depression, trauma, chronic stress, medical conditions. All of these can cause sleep problems that behavioral techniques alone can't fix. If you've been trying these techniques diligently for 3 to 4 weeks and seeing minimal improvement, talk to a doctor. You might need additional support. That's not failure. That's wisdom. Consider professional help. Therapy specifically for sleep. There's something called CBTI, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. It's extremely effective. A therapist trained in CBTI can help you identify specific patterns disrupting your sleep and create a personalized treatment plan that if anxiety or racing thoughts are severe, a therapist who specializes in anxiety disorders can teach you more advanced techniques. Sometimes the racing thoughts are symptoms of underlying issues that need direct attention. There's no shame in getting help. These techniques are powerful, but they're not a substitute for professional treatment when that's what's needed. Medication isn't failure. Some people need medication for sleep or anxiety, at least temporarily. If you've tried behavioral approaches and they're not sufficient, medication might be appropriate. Talk to a doctor or psychiatrist. Medication and behavioral techniques work well together. The medication can provide relief while you're learning and practicing the behavioral skills. Eventually, many people can reduce or stop medication once they've built strong self-regulation skills that don't suffer unnecessarily. Use all available tools, including medication if needed. Know your limits. Some nights, the kindest thing you can do is accept that sleep isn't happening right now and get up. Lying in bed frustrated for hours is worse than getting up, doing something calm, and trying again later. If you've been trying to sleep for more than 30 minutes and it's not working, get up. Go to another room. Do something quiet and calming. Read something boring. Do gentle stretches. Sit in dim light. When you feel genuinely sleepy, return to bed. Don't make your bed a place of struggle. If you're just lying there fighting, you're training your brain to associate bed with frustration instead of sleep. Better to get up, break the association, start fresh. Daytime practices that help nighttime sleep. Your racing thoughts at night don't start at night. They're the culmination of how you've managed stress all day. If you want better nights, you need to address your days. Morning matters. Get bright light within an hour of waking. Go outside for 10 minutes. Look out a window. Bright morning light sets your circadian rhythm, making you naturally tired at the right time that evening. Move your body. Even just 10 minutes of walking. Morning movement reduces nighttime restlessness. Afternoon stress. Don't let stress accumulate all day, then try to process it at midnight. Build in brief stress release moments throughout your day. Every 2 hours, take 60 seconds. Do one quick technique, 3 rounds of 4-7-8 breath, or tense and release your shoulders, or ground in your feet. These micro releases prevent the massive buildup that explodes at bedtime. Evening wind down. Start your evening wind down 2 hours before bed, not 5 minutes. Dim lights gradually. Reduce stimulation. Shift from doing mode to being mode. This doesn't mean sitting in darkness doing nothing. It means choosing calming activities. Reading physical books instead of screens. Gentle conversation instead of heated debates. Slow music instead of action movies. You're creating a ramp down towards sleep, not a cliff. The worry hour. Remember the worry appointment from Chapter 8? Make it a daily practice, not just nighttime emergency. Every day, same time, 15 minutes of dedicated worry time. Sit down with your list of concerns. Think them through. Make plans. Take action on what you can. Then you're done worrying for the day. When worries pop up at other times, you write them down for tomorrow's worry hour. This contains worry to one specific time instead of letting it leak into all times, especially bedtime. What you consume, what you put in your body affects sleep more than you think. Caffeine after 2 p.m. will still be in your system at bedtime. Alcohol might make you drowsy but ruin sleep quality. Heavy meals close to bedtime keep your digestive system activated. You don't need perfect nutrition, but basic awareness helps. Lighter dinners, earlier caffeine cutoff, alcohol moderation or elimination, movement, and energy. Your body needs to burn energy during the day to be genuinely tired at night. If you're sedentary all day, your body isn't tired even if your mind is. That creates the exhausted but wired state. Move daily. Not necessarily intense exercise. Walking counts. Stairs count. Housework counts. Just move enough that your body is legitimately ready for rest by evening. But don't exercise intensely within 3 hours of bedtime. That raises core body temperature and activation, making sleep harder. Morning or afternoon exercise is ideal. Perspective on bad nights, that you're going to have bad nights. Many of them. Even with perfect technique use, life will sometimes keep you awake. That's normal. That's human. Don't catastrophize bad nights. Point one bad night is just one night, that it's not evidence that you're broken or that nothing works. It's just one night. Your body is resilient. You'll function tomorrow. Maybe not optimally, but you'll function. Don't let one bad night create a week of sleep anxiety. Don't lie there thinking, here we go again. I'll never sleep. This will never get better. That catastrophizing makes everything worse. Just think, tonight is hard. Tomorrow night will likely be easier. I've had hard nights before and I survived them. This is temporary. Your worth isn't measured in sleep hours. That you're not failing if you don't sleep 8 perfect hours. You're not less valuable if you need these techniques. You're not weak if you struggle with racing thoughts. Sleep problems are incredibly common. You're not alone. You're not uniquely defective. You're just human, dealing with a nervous system that sometimes gets stuck in activation. That's biology, not character failure. Be kind to yourself on hard nights. Talk to yourself like you'd talk to a friend who's struggling. With compassion, with patience, with understanding that this is difficult and you're doing your best. Progress isn't linear. You might have 3 great nights, then 1 terrible night. That's not regression. That's normal fluctuation. Don't panic when you have setbacks. They don't erase your progress. Zoom out. Look at trends over weeks, not individual nights. Are you sleeping better on average than you were a month ago? That's what matters. Not whether last night was perfect. Functioning on less sleep. You can function on less sleep than you think. Not ideally. Not long term, but short term, your body compensates. You're more capable than your 3 a.m. catastrophic thinking tells you. If you've had a bad night and you're dreading tomorrow, remember, you've functioned on poor sleep before. You've survived tired days. You'll survive this one too. It will be harder, yes, but you'll get through it. And when you do get through it, your body will be genuinely tired tomorrow night. Sometimes one bad night actually helps the next night because you're truly exhausted and your body demands rest. Final truths. Let me leave you with some truths that might help on hard nights ahead, that you're safe right now. Most racing thoughts are about imagined futures or remembered pasts. But right now, in this moment, you're safe. Your bed is safe. Your room is safe. Nothing is actively threatening you right this second. Check reality regularly. Look around. Feel your body. Notice that right now, in the present moment, you're actually okay. The catastrophes are in your mind, not in this room. Your body knows how to sleep, that you've been sleeping since before you were born. Sleep is a biological function your body knows intimately. You don't need to figure out how to sleep. You just need to get out of the way and let your body do what it knows how to do. These techniques aren't teaching your body to sleep. They're removing the obstacles, the nervous system activation, the racing thoughts, the physical tension that prevent your body from doing what it naturally does. Acceptance helps more than fighting on really hard nights. Sometimes the best thing is acceptance. Okay, tonight is hard. I'm probably not going to sleep great. That's okay. I can handle it. I'll rest as best I can and deal with tomorrow when tomorrow comes. That acceptance, paradoxically, often makes sleep easier. You stop fighting, and in that surrender, rest becomes possible. Fighting creates tension. Tension prevents sleep. Acceptance releases tension. Sometimes accepting that you might not sleep well is what allows you to finally sleep, that you're doing better than you think, that if you're listening to this, you're trying. You're showing up for yourself. You're learning tools. You're working on this. That's not nothing. That's actually significant. Many people just suffer, thinking they're helpless. You're not doing that. You're taking action. You're learning. You're building skills. That deserves recognition, even from yourself. Give yourself credit for trying, for being here, for working through these techniques, for not giving up even when nights are hard. You're doing the work. That matters. That your path forward. Here's your path forward from tonight. Tomorrow, do your worry appointment. Honor the deal you made with your brain. Sit down at the time you specified and actually think through those concerns. Build trust in the system. Tomorrow night, use your top 3 techniques. Not all 8, just your favorites. Build your personal sequence. Make it sustainable. For the next 2 weeks, practice every night, even good nights. Train your nervous system. Let the conditioning develop. Track what works. Adjust as needed. Be patient with the process. You're building a skill, and skills take time. If after 3 to 4 weeks you're not seeing improvement, talk to a professional. Get additional support. Don't suffer alone. On hard nights, use all 8 techniques if needed. Have this audiobook ready to listen to again. Come back to the guidance when you need it. Be kind to yourself. Progress isn't linear. Some nights will be hard. That's okay. That's being human. Keep practicing anyway. Remember that you have tools now. You're not helpless. You know 8 different ways to interrupt racing thoughts. You know how to work with your nervous system instead of fighting it. That knowledge stays with you. Build these practices into your life, not just as emergency interventions, but as daily self-care. A few minutes every night to care for your nervous system, to signal safety to your body, to give yourself the conditions for genuine rest. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. You deserve nights where sleep comes easily. You're working toward that. Keep going. Tonight, right now, you've done everything you need to do. You've worked through the techniques. You've shifted your nervous system. You've created the conditions for sleep. Now it's time to let go and let your body do what it knows how to do. Your mind is quiet enough now. Your body is relaxed enough now. You're present enough now. Sleep is possible now. Trust your body. Trust the process. Trust that you've done enough. 8 minutes. 8 techniques. 1 quiet mind. You have it now. Rest well. You've earned it. Sleep now.